Hello, it's Greg Harrelson here with Century 21 in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina. I just want to welcome you to another video that I'm shooting and just sharing with real estate agents across the country regarding getting listing leads via the Infusionsoft application. A lot of you know, if you've seen my videos in the past, you know that I am a very big user, a big proponent of the Infusionsoft application. And last year alone, we did between 300 and 400 transactions listing sales as a result of how we were working our databases. So I want to kind of talk about some best practices on how to use Infusionsoft for seller leads so you can get more listings and ultimately, get more sales. So let me start with the notes that I have here. The most important thing about building a database in Infusionsoft is the way that you tag or segment your list. So one of the things that we do is we may do direct mail or we may do cold canvassing over the phone, prospecting calls. And no matter what means that we're attacking the market, we're always having conversations with people and getting their email addresses. So I might have sold a property recently in a community in your neighborhood. Let's just say it's called Pine Lakes. And I might call you and say, hey, when do you plan on selling your Pine Lakes property? And there's a possibility that you're not thinking about selling. Well, before I get off the phone, I'm going to say, Mr. Smith, I really appreciate you taking the time to talk to me. A lot of the neighbors in the area have requested that I keep them up to date as to what is going on in the market, especially in Pine Lakes. And of course, we know the slightest little shift in the economy can have a major impact on our property's value. I'm just kind of curious, what is your email address? I just want to make sure you get the same information. A high percentage of the people that we use that script will actually give us their email addresses. Now I take that information, put it into Infusionsoft. So of course we put their email address in there, their name, their telephone number, their address, their email address, but we tag it as the community name. In this particular case, it's called Pine Lakes. So just imagine if you did that, you called that community 2 times or 3 times in a year. That's not too much. That's just 2 to 3 times in a year. Over time, you might get 50% of that email addresses in that one particular community and then have them in Infusionsoft. And imagine yourself doing that to 10 different communities throughout the year. You might have 50% of the email addresses of all the property owners in 10 specific communities in your area. So, how do you use that in the future? So what you can do in the future is you can actually send them emails or have a drip campaign, but in your drip campaign are going to be emails specific to that community. It may actually mention the community like, hello, we just sold another property in Pine Lakes. The market's very active. The last sale actually was higher than the previous one. I'm just kind of curious if you thought about selling. So you can, so the emails can be very targeted, could be kind of laser focused and make the receiver of the email, the property owner in that particular community, it'll make them feel like you're just talking to them. It doesn't feel like, it's a massive email. It sounds like and it feels like it's an email that's directed to them. And when they feel like you're talking to them versus talking to the masses, then they're going to engage and talk back to you and give you information. They may say, yes, I'm thinking about selling. They may say, no, I'm not thinking about selling. Or they may even say, hey, I'm not selling, but my neighbor just put a for sale by owner sign up. You may want to call him. So that information, of course, is very important. We like that feedback, but we would not get that feedback if we wouldn't have properly tagged the lead correctly in the beginning. So tagging and segmentation in terms of getting listings is critical. It's the name of the game. The second thing that I want to share is when you do send emails to these particular communities, make sure you're sending relevant information. So what is relevant? Well, if a property just sold in that community, then send that information. That's relevant. But the challenge is what people are doing is they're creating emails and they're putting their last 10 sales on one email and they're blasting it out into their entire database. Well, everyone knows when they receive that email that that's just a big email blast, that they're just one of probably thousands of people that may have received that. When they feel like they're just one of many, then they're not going to read it. But when they think that you're talking just to them, they will. So it's relevant information. Just sold information is relevant, but keep it specific to that one community. And you have to do this, the only way that you can do this is if you tag correctly. You can send them market condition reports for that one community. You can give them quarterly reports for that one community. Or you can go ahead and, of course, use a home valuation tool, which so many people are using, these days, and it's very powerful. But the email would say, hi, things are changing in Pine Lakes right now. Property values have shifted a little bit. You might find it interesting to see what your property's worth. Click on this home valuation tool to get an instant evaluation of your property. It'll be amazing at how many people are going to click that within that one community. So the third step is, of course, now it's the follow-up. Because here's the key. When people click, let's just use the example of the home valuation tool. You send information out to the Pine Lakes database. They read your information. They clicked on the home valuation tool. What most agents are doing is they see that that person clicked on the tool, and then they have a follow-up email that goes out to them. That's fantastic. That's part of the campaign. But the key is actually calling them. See, what I think is when they click on that home valuation tool, then the next day I come into the office, I export everyone out of Infusionsoft that had clicked that home valuation tool the day before, and then we give them a call. We know that they got the valuation. We know they got the number, but now I'm going to call them and say, hey, it's Greg Harrelson. I just wanted to make sure the home valuation tool worked properly and just ask you what you thought of your value. And then they may say, well, it was a little bit low, it was a little bit high. Well, you know what? That's the challenge with automated valuation tools, is they're not completely accurate. They can give you a range. And then there's your opportunity to ask them, hey, if you're thinking about selling, would you like me to go ahead and refine the research a little bit more and give you some better information? Maybe a yes, maybe a no. If it's a no, you're still engaging. You're establishing a rapport and you're becoming the authority in their eyes. If it's a yes, obviously, you're on your way to a listing appointment. So these are three things that's just very important. Let me repeat them. Number one, you got to tag or segment it properly. The more tagging, the better off you'll be in the long run. And then only send them relevant information. Make it specific to their community. The more specific you are to their community, the more likely they're going to engage back. And then follow up. Don't just let the system run and think that, okay, I'm communicating with them. You might be communicating via automation, you're emailing them, but you're still disconnected. You've got to have conversations. Use the tool to create a list that you will then follow up with the phone calls. I hope this information helps. And by the way, one other thing that I am using text messaging in my campaigns now with Infusionsoft, and there's a great system out there called Convert by Text that specializes just in real estate agents, in the business of real estate. They may do some retail or things like that, but they're actually doing a lot of training and have content regarding real estate agents and generating and converting more business via text messaging. So you may want to check that out. If you want to email me at gregharrelson@gmail.com, or you can text me 843-457-7816, and I can give you some contact information. I hope this information helps. Go out there and take more listings by using Infusionsoft. Thank you.